What's going on, y'all? I am back once again, and today we're going to be checking out the best backfiring cars in Greenville. And in this video, we're pretty much just going to go over the best cars that do backfire. We're going to be going from casual cars to supercars to even cars that you might at least expect to have backfire. And yeah, it's pretty straightforward, so let's get right into it. But first off, if you have been a fan of my channel for a while, I will be posting another slot car tutorial pretty soon. Part 3 is coming out. There's going to be a lot of different stuff, suspension and all that. So I will get that out as soon as possible. Make sure to like and subscribe. We are on the road to 1,000 subscribers. I would really appreciate it if we could hit it before June of 2025 or before July of 2025. And yeah, with all that being said, let's get right into it. And by the way, I will give a disclaimer, these cars are mainly like within your budget. Like for example, the R34, I'm pretty sure it has backfire, but that's over $400,000. So I will be doing cars that are definitely in your budget. And yeah, so pretty straightforward. And starting off with number 1, we're going to be checking out the 2004 Sumo Boxes, aka the 2004 Subaru WRX Impreza. And yeah, it's a really nice car, iconic. It's a blob eye, just an awesome rally car, a lot of legacy and history, and it has backfire. And it is a pretty old model, so there is going to be decal lights, and the model in general isn't going to look that good, but it's not bad. It's pretty fun to drive, and it looks pretty nice for being pretty old. And there's only one trim, which is the Rally X, aka the WRX STI, and it only costs 30 grand. I'd say that's pretty good, and it doesn't require any game pass, which is pretty sweet. And here's mine right here. I did a nice Subaru blue on it, lowered it a tiny bit and removed the front plate, and it is super nice. And then of course, when you get to higher RPMs on manual, it does backfire. So it is really understeer, so I wouldn't really recommend racing in this or running from the cops, but it does have that off-road capability, which makes it really fun to drive and to race around. And I just hit a pole, but yeah, that's gonna be number 1 on the list, the 2004 Subaru Impreza. So let's move on to the next car. Alright, moving on to the next car, we got the 2005 Mitsushima Yari, aka the 2004 or 2005 Mitsubishi Evo 9. And this car is awesome. Yet another rally legend, yet another really old model with only one trim, which is pretty unfortunate. It'd be awesome if they remastered these cars and gave them like parts like we did on the Range Rovers, and the parts are pretty much just like full-on body kits and such. That would be a really awesome feature, but for now we gotta settle with these old models, which aren't too bad. They're drivable, but just a bit of a shame. 240 horsepower, all-wheel drive, once again pretty much identical to the WRX. Pretty nice colors here, and it's only 30 grand once again, so you can choose in between this and the Subaru Impreza. I personally think the Evo is a little better, just because like well, I don't know, I like both, but I can't really say for sure. Here is mine right here, a little reminiscent of the Fast and Furious Evo 9, and here's the startup. And once again, this car requires no game pass, so you can just fool around and have as much fun as you want on this. Personally, the decal lights don't really annoy me all that much at all. I think they kind of suit the car, honestly, a nice kind of retro look. It is a bit quicker than the WRX and overall way more fun in my opinion and cooler sounding, just overall better, but I like both. It's personal preference, not really. It's a win-win either way. But yeah, here is the backfire on the Evo 9 if you want a rally car or a JDM car. And yeah, let's move on to the next car. Alright, next up on the list, we got the 2008 Mizuku I am not going to pronounce that. That is such a goofy name, aka the Mazda RX-8. So this car is honestly really underrated in my opinion. The base model is an EV conversion, which is terrible by the way, only 120 miles and 107 horsepower. It's just not good at all, do not bother. And you got the Mizuku Speed, which is the trim I'm going to be showcasing, and it's also the car on the cover of the video. And this car is so awesome. I love this body kit on it, reminiscent of the Fast and Furious RX-8. 255 horsepower, 156 miles per hour, pretty good, and it's rear-wheel drive, so you can spin it around a bit. And when we're on topic, this does also include the 2012 Mazda RX-8, which is pretty much the same, but it's a facelift if you do prefer this. Really nice, pretty much like a reskin version of the 2008 RX-8. And I should include, they do not require any game passes. I think maybe the top trims do require some, but it's still an overall cool car in general, even if you don't get the Backfire, and it's really affordable. So here's mine right here. It does have decal lights, but again, I feel like it kind of fits the car for its retro kind of look, and I put on some aftermarket rims which look super nice. Yeah, and the spoiler is so sick. This car is just so awesome. I usually sell my cars after I'm done with the video, but I might keep this one. It's just so cool. And yeah, in garages, it looks super sweet. I love this. If you do want the hex color for this, I will display it right here in a second. It is in the premium. We do need premium game pass, but here is the hex code right there, or the RGB if you do want it. And I did the chrome finish, which is right here. So just in case you're curious about the paint, I think it's awesome, really Y2K. And yeah, let's move on to the next car on the list. Alright, moving on to the next car on the list, we're going to be a bit more familiar and move into supercar territory. With that being said, the next car is going to be the 2009 VAR Horizon, aka the 2009 Nissan GTR, if you didn't already know. And this car is so underrated. Yet again, I never see this. You always see the 2017 GTRs, but you never see the 2009. 480 horsepower, 3,800 pounds, so it's a bit hefty, but it's all-wheel drive, so it's going to be pretty fun to drive and toss around. And it's only 70k, and it does require the sports pass, unfortunately, but I'd say it's pretty affordable. And of course, you got Backfire. So here's mine outside right here. I did lower it a bit, and I gave it a nice paint finish, and it is just super nice. Let me start it up right here. And it does also have updated lights, unlike the other cars on the list. It has light textures and everything, and of course it has the Backfire. But yeah, this is the 2009 Nissan GTR. Not much to be said about this. It's just super underrated, and even if it didn't have Backfire, I'd still recommend it in general. It's just a really awesome car. And yeah, let's move on to the next vehicle on the list. Alright, now if you're a muscle car fan, this next car on the list is going to satisfy you, and that's going to be the 2013 Bullhorn Determinator, aka the 2013 Dodge Challenger, of course. What you want is the SFP8 or the SFP10. The SFP10 is pretty much based on the SRT10 concept, which has a Viper engine under the hood. Yeah, a Challenger with a Viper engine is pretty insane. 530 horsepower, 180 miles per hour. It's really sick, and only 57k. But I went with the SFP8 just because of the stripes, and yeah, I just did it because of the stripes. And it's only 35k, but it does require the luxury pass for some reason. But it is pretty quick as well, 148 miles per hour and 485 horsepower. And here's mine right here. I kind of based it off the Challenger in Breaking Bad, the one that Walter White drives, and it's pretty sick. And here's the startup for you. Pretty sick startup. It does kind of have updated lights. It's weird. It's like a blend of decal and modern lights. But yeah, I do recommend the SRT8 for sure. If you want some muscle. Pretty much all I have to say. Let's move on to the next car. And speaking of Dodge, the next car on the list is actually going to be really quirky and just like, you know, a complete curveball. And if you have watched my underrated car series videos, you probably recognize this, but it's going to be the 2014 Bullhorn Vengeance. Now you're thinking like, yeah, no way this spits Backfire. You gotta be joking, right? Well, actually, a lot of people don't know about this, but this car has an SFP6 trim, aka an SRT6 trim, which is based on the IRL SRT6 concept, and it is super weird and random that they have in a game. It does require the luxury game pass. It's a supercharged V6 that is front wheel drive. That is insane, and it's 30k. So if you want a rare car that nobody really drives at all and you have some money laying around, I definitely get this. It's just really dumb, but I think it's really awesome. It has updated rear lights, but it has decal lights, but it's not too bad. As a regular V6 startup, you wouldn't suspect anything, but watch this. And yeah, it has the old supercharger one, the same ones that were on the old Hellcats, and it's just really insane. This thing is honestly kind of a sleeper, to be honest. It turns really well for being front wheel drive, doesn't understeer at all, turns on a dime. But yeah, it's just super weird, super wacky, and nobody's really gonna see this at all. Nobody sees these, and I'd never seen these. So yeah, I do definitely recommend this if you want like a silly car, or it's just like a sick Backfire car that nobody really knows about. And yeah, let's move on to the next car on the list. This is quite a wacky one. Alright, moving on to the next car, we got the 2017 Falcon Distinct Hatchback, aka the 2017 Ford Focus. Now the trim that you want to get on this car is going to be the RS at the very bottom right here, and is of course the Ford Focus RS, and it's $40K, so it's pretty expensive. That is more than a Challenger and a lot of the cars that we just showcased on the list, so it's really expensive, pretty overpriced in my opinion. But it is pretty fun to drive. It's all-wheel drive, 190 horsepower, 3,100 pounds, so this is going to be quite tossable. And yeah, it does require the luxury game pass, unfortunately, so this car overall isn't that worth it. But if you want something unique and you can afford it, then I definitely recommend to buy it. And it does have Backfire. It does have outdated lights, unfortunately, but it's not too much of a buzzkill. At least you get somewhat updated rear lights. But here is the Backfire. So yeah, I'd say this is quite a sleeper, and again, it is really expensive, so I wouldn't say it's too worth it. But at the end of the day, you're mainly coming for the Backfire. That's why you click on this video. So yeah, here is another car I'd recommend buying. The next car on the list is also going to be a Ford from 2017, and that is of course going to be the 2017 Falcon Stallion, aka the 2017 Ford Mustang. So the trim that you want to get is, of course, you can probably guess, either the GT or the Shelby's, but in this one I'm going to be doing the GT just because it looks pretty clean. And honestly, this is probably one of the best bang for buck cars on the list. It is 33 grand, requires a luxury pass for some reason instead of the sports pass, but you get 435 horsepower, it's a V8 rear-wheel drive, and 3,700 pounds, so it's not too bad at all, and it's actually really fun, and it looks super clean. Of course, I have mine out here. I did do this really nice blue, and I kind of lowered it a bit, and here is the startup. And yeah, I see it is really quick for what you get. Yeah, and it has that Backfire. Not much to say about this thing. But yeah, this is a car I recommend buying, and let's move on to the next one. Alright, moving back into JDM territory, we got the 2019 Navara Star. The trim that you want to get is going to be the Navmo, aka the Nismo. Of course, it starts at 44K, almost 45K, which is kind of like in the Ford Focus RS territory. Pretty overpriced in my opinion, but it is rear-wheel drive. It requires the luxury pass, 300 horsepower and 151 miles an hour, so it is pretty spendy. I would only get it for the looks, if I'm being honest, even though the model is not good. But it is a car that has Backfire and is pretty quick. So yeah, let's check it out. But yeah, here's mine right here. It does honestly not look bad when you actually spawn and get it out, especially you have the red trim popping out. But yeah, it's really cool. It does have a nice rumble when you let off the throttle. It has running lights. The lights are a bit outdated. They are decal lights, but they don't look bad whatsoever. The rear lights are updated, but the front ones could use some work. Overall though, it is not a bad car at all whatsoever. The model is pretty inaccurate, but it could be worse. It could easily be worse. Again, it is pretty spendy, but if you have some money laying around, I'd say that it's not a bad buy at all. So yeah, with all that being said, let's move on to the next car on the list. Alright, for the next entry on the list, I feel like a lot of car guys, especially European car guys, are really going to enjoy this entry on the list, and that entry is going to be the 2021 Romalfa Julie Quadluck. And the trim that you want to get is of course the Quadluck, which is the top trim. It starts at 51K, but I'd say it's really good value. Unlike the past previous cars, you still don't really see them too much, especially really clean builds. And I feel like if they do update these models, they have a lot of potential. But yeah, again, 51K, a pretty good deal in my opinion for what you're getting, especially for the looks. And here is mine right here, which is to furthermore prove that it looks super nice. I love Alfa Romeos, and it has a sick diffuser. If you lower it and put new rims on it, it looks super nice. And yeah, let's start it up. I know it seems pretty anticlimactic, but this car is just super fun to toss around and drive, and of course you can do some sick builds with it, and you get decent Backfire and nice sounds. So yeah, with all that being said, let's move on to the final few cars that are left in the video. The next entry is going to be a car that y'all probably did not see coming, and that's going to be the 2021 Western Circle. aka the Circle convertible, and the trim that you want to get is either the XR or the XA, but the trim that I got is the XA, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it is the XA. And yeah, this car is so sick. For a fictional car, I feel like the Circle is super awesome, and it did recently get refreshed lights, so it's a lot more realistic, and it's overall just more enjoyable. It does require the sports pass, but it is a supercharged V8 that goes 194 miles per hour. It's rear-wheel drive, and it starts at 60k, which isn't too bad, and the XR is 45k, and that requires the luxury pass. So if you do want to downgrade a bit, you can get the XR, which I'm pretty sure still has Backfire. But yeah, let's check out the XA, and there's a lot of build potential, I will say that. Here's mine right here. I did the super nice fine speckle green right here with some aftermarket rims and a nice license plate to match with kind of the rear diffuser, and it is just so awesome. Just a nice muscle car that you can enjoy. And with all that being said, let's move on to the next car in the list. God, this car is so awesome. Alright, moving on to one of the final cars on the list. We got the 2022 Navara Star, aka the 2022 Nissan 400Z, and it has quite a lot of bells and whistles. Yeah, it's just for a modern sports car. It is super nice. I love the retro design that they did. In real life, these are really overpriced, so I'm glad it's not that way in Greenville. And it also comes in manual, so if you did want a manual modern sports car, then this car might be for you. Super fun to drive, really cool looking. You get some styling points. But yeah, not too much to say about this car. It's awesome. I love it. Really underrated. Let me know which car was your favorite down in the comments below. This has been the final car on the list, and I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. Let me know what video I should do next, whether it's like the best modified. But yeah, that's pretty much been it for this video. I really hope you guys enjoyed. Sorry I haven't been posting too much. It's just school has been getting in the way and a lot of outside personal life, but I will try to post more. And of course, I got a another slot car tutorial video coming on the way. But yeah, I really hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to like and sub. We are on the journey to 1,000 subs. I would really appreciate it before July of 2025. Another side note, I hope you guys have a really awesome Memorial Day weekend. And yeah, with all that being said, that's all I got for y'all, and I'll catch you later.